Batman. Excuse me. Sorry. What's good, y'all? This is Abwon, and this is another episode of Before You Watch, spoiler-free reviews. Make sure you like this video, but before that, make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell so that way you know whenever I drop new content. Because as you can tell from the last few weeks, I've been dropping a lot. Anyway, my last review was for Genius, the Kanye West documentary on Netflix, and that was episode 2. But I'm just going to get right into it because this is what people want to see. This is what people want to hear. This is what they've been waiting for. The Batman. This is not an origin story. That's the biggest thing I want to tell you. And I also feel like that's one of the best aspects of the movie. We don't go into the whole, oh, he's with his parents, they get robbed and blah, blah, blah. Everybody knows the origin story of Spider-Man and Batman, right? Batman's the most popular superhero of all time. So everybody knows his origin story. And if you don't, Google is your BFF. But for right now, you don't see his origin story. This is not the beginning of Batman. It takes place, I guess he just started out as being Batman. He's relatively new. He's like a neophyte, I guess you can say. And this is like a really good take on Batman because for the most part, we usually either see him where he's in his like late 30s, mid to late 30s, or he's in like his mid to late 40s. So he's already established. This is the only time where we see him where he's relatively new. And I think that plays a good part because he can't do everything on his own. He can't. He enlists the help of Lieutenant Gordon. Well, first off, let me just give you a synopsis here since it's not an origin story. The Riddler is on the loose. He's trying to destroy Gotham, and Batman and Lieutenant Gordon are trying to stop him. That's pretty much it. That's it. Without giving you any spoilers, that's that. So since he's not super duper established yet, the town doesn't really know what he's about or what he can do. The police force don't really know what he's about or what he can do. They just know he's a vigilante, and him himself doesn't really know what he can do or what he's about. The fight scenes are really good, and he's a little bit more aggressive, I guess you can say. Not as aggressive as the Batman that was in Batman vs Superman, but he's pretty aggressive, almost to the point where you kind of feel like he might kill somebody because he's just that angry. But he's also not, he doesn't have that finesse like the other Batmans have. Like, he's not just like jumping onto the scene with his cape in slow motion and he's got everything planned out. You know, he messes up a lot. He messes up a lot. There's a couple scenes where the opposition gets the drop on him and you're like, uh-oh, you know what I'm saying? Batman has to figure this out. Now, even though this is a superhero movie and it is a Batman movie, it's different it's different in the way the story is structured. So I can only compare this to The Dark Knights because those are the most popular Batman movies to this date, right? Those movies are mostly action oriented. The storyline is excellent, but they're action oriented and the acting is paramount, right? This particular one focuses more on the detective aspects of Batman because he is the greatest detective ever, right? I do like their take on the Riddler. However, he kind of sounds like Jigsaw, and I'm a huge Jigsaw fan. That's actually one of my favorite horror franchises of all time. He kind of sounds like Jigsaw. A lot of his motives are kind of like Jigsaw. So I was just like, They do incorporate a lot of contemporary technology too. You know, a lot of the old Batman movies, it's a lot of the same. You know, you watch news reporters, you see headlines in newspapers and things like that. This is the only movie where they actually incorporate things like Instagram Live, Facebook, FaceTime, TikTok. You know what I'm saying? So they definitely did their thing with that. Now, even though the action scenes are well done, there just aren't enough of them. And before I start getting into the things I do not like about this movie, I'm just going to say two things here. I did like the movie. So before people start thinking, oh, Ab is just a hater, I did like this movie, but I keep it neutral with everything. And the score of this movie was excellent. The music is on point. It's A1, but there just aren't enough action scenes. The pacing in this movie was the pacing just was not well done. The movie's 3 hours, right? Now, I do understand and I do agree that you don't feel like it's a 3-hour movie. I get that, because I didn't feel like it was a 3-hour movie either. But this movie could have easily been a cool 2 hours and 20 minutes and been way better. There were so many scenes that dragged and dragged and dragged, and I wasn't the only one that thought so. There were plenty of other people in that movie that were walking out to take bathroom breaks, looking on their phone. They were sighing. People were just like, yo, like, come on, be ready to move on to the next scene. Batman is a character where if you play that role to the T, everybody will forgive every other horrible movie that you've done just because you played a good Batman. And it could be a role that you can be remembered for the rest of your life, like Superman. You know what I'm saying? So now everybody looks at, oh, well, how is he as Batman? How is he as Bruce Wayne? How's his voice? Ever since Michael Keaton, I don't think we've ever had an actor play both a good Bruce Wayne and a good Batman. They're either one or the other. Christian Bale is a good Batman. He's a terrible Bruce Wayne. You know what I'm saying? George Clooney, Val Kilmer, they're great Bruce Waynes. They're terrible Batmans. I can keep going on and on. Robert Pattinson fits right into that mold. He's a good Batman. I wouldn't say he's a great one. He's a good Batman. He is an awful Bruce Wayne. Awful. He's got like this emo haircut with like his hair gel to the side. He looks like he's like the lead singer of My Chemical Romance. Every scene was like super duper depressing with him in it. Every time he does speak, his voice, they don't give him this like automated deep voice that they give all the other Batmans, but he has like this soft tone where he talks like this. I need to solve the crime, Detective Gordon. The Riddler's trying to destroy Gotham. It's just like that. And there was a couple times where I did not understand what he was saying. And I'm like, I wish I had subtitles, because I have no idea what's going on in this conversation right now. And it's not just him. I felt like the only character that actually propelled his voice in this movie was the Penguin, which was Colin Farrell. And I didn't even know that, because the Excellent was so well done. So when you do see it, just remember the Penguin is Colin Farrell. So, Robert Pattinson, his Bruce Wayne, to me, I did not like him. Every time I looked at him, I didn't even think he was a billionaire. Nothing about him changed. Nothing about him screamed charming billionaire son at all. It just looked super duper emo. I felt like he was like gonna break out into and cry in a corner every time somebody said something to him that he didn't like. I just didn't like it. Now, when he was Batman, he could be a little intimidating, and I did like his suit. His suit did not look overly clunky like the Ben Affleck one that looked super duper clunky. Catwoman had one of the ugliest masks I have ever seen in a superhero movie. It's like a ski mask that they cut off at the nose. It looks super duper uncomfortable. I just didn't like it. I understand the look that they were going for. They were going for a burglar look. I get it. Not what, like, I think they would have done a better job if they would have chosen the goggles that she has in the comics, but they didn't. But where Catwoman shines is the fact that she's actually in the movie, because Robert Pattinson says so little in this movie. I don't think he says more than like 5 words in any sentence at any given time. Everything is like 1 word or like 3 words. He speaks so little, and I get it. He's going through something in life. He's super emotional, like I told you, right? He's depressed. Like, I get it. So Catwoman being in the movie, and she's super duper lively, and she's full of vigor and things like that. If she wasn't in this movie, I would have fell asleep. Because Bruce Wayne just doesn't talk. So when he's there, there's just nothing going on. But the story is engaging enough where you want to see what's going on. But Catwoman was definitely there to pick up a lot of the energy. He has this one scene where he jumps off a building and he like kind of hesitates because he doesn't really want to do it, but he's being chased, so he has to. And he has like this glide suit on that was pretty dope too. And he like pulled this cord, and then his suit just like ballooned and turned into this glide suit. I thought it was really dope. It didn't look like super duper digitized like Iron Man's like technology goes and everything like that. It just looked very practical. But there's a couple Easter eggs. There's a scene at the end of the movie before the credits that, you know, kind of alludes to another sequel. There is something at the end of the credits, but honestly, it's not even worth standing around for. It's not even worth waiting around for. It's nothing like how Marvel does it. I'm happy I saw the movie for free. If I had to pay for it, I mean, ticket prices are expensive and gas prices are expensive. If I would have had to pay for it, I probably would not be as happy. I know a lot of people are out here super duper hype, like, oh my God, I can't wait to watch this movie, yo. I've been waiting my whole life to watch this movie. I was hyped to watch the movie. It's not a bad movie, but Dark Knight is king. When in the realm of DC movies and Batman movies, Dark Knight is king. Spider-Man is still the better movie, though. If we're talking superheroes, Spider-Man is the better movie. But it's Marvel, so you know how that goes. I'm not even going to try to compare. This movie's not that bad. Everybody and their mom's going to see it because there's really nothing else in the theaters to watch at this moment. So people are going to feel like, oh, if I don't see it, like, I'm doing myself a huge disservice. I'm going to give the movie a 7.5 out of 10. It's not bad. It's too long. I will not watch it again. That's just what it is. I feel like everybody needs to watch it. Everybody will watch it. DC did a good job with it. It is what it is. Robert Pattinson didn't really do a great job, but he didn't do a bad job. So make sure you subscribe. Hit me up on the gram. Hit me up on TikTok, The Real Abwon. I'm out of here. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Peace.